Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Jake from Sports Look back here, as promised, with my 2017 NFL mock draft with trades. Excuse me. Yes, with trades edition. Yep. This is gonna be a one-round mock, all trades included. Everything I think is gonna happen in this mock draft. Let's get right into it. Okay. Actually, before we start, I'm going to have to ask you guys for one simple thing, alright? I'm going to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. You don't have to do it, but it would be super appreciated if you do. Every like, every comment, every subscription is appreciated. My channel is still relatively young, and I'm growing. And if you like my stuff, maybe you'll stick around for some more. I don't know. But enough of me self-advertising. Let's get right into what I promised. 2017 NFL mock draft with trades. All right. First pick, it's a pretty simple one. Browns, they're going Myles Garrett. They're not going to overthink it. They're not going to BS it with a quarterback. They're going Myles Garrett, the highest potential ceiling player in this draft. He's a defensive end. He's what they need, and he's there at number one. So you draft him number one. Okay. Now, on to the second pick. This is where stuff starts to get juicy. Okay, 49ers. They're going to trade, right? Trade back time. 49ers trading with the Panthers. Okay, Panthers are going to select Leonard Fournette out of LSU. This guy, possibly the next Adrian Peterson. I don't know. He looks very much so like him. So, watch out, NFC South. You're going to have Leonard Fournette and Cam Newton in the same team, in the same backfield. That's a scary combination. With that, we're going on to the Bears pick. The Bears, they're going to stay put, and they're going to select Solomon Thomas. Yes, defensive tackle, defensive end. He's essentially what the Bears need. They need a defensive end. Solomon Thomas fixes that. He can become a super stud in this league. He's got all the athletic ability you need, and he's an extremely good, technically sound player. On to the next pick. Jags. They're going to pick Jamal Adams. I know this is a very controversial pick, and sometimes I see people having the Jags trade out of this pick. I think that if the Jags go Jamal Adams here, they get the best young they will get the best young secondary in the entire NFL. Okay? You have AJ Boye and Jalen Ramsey already. If you add Jamal Adams to that mix, that is a problem for all NFL quarterbacks. You do not want to be messing with the Jaguars secondary with Jamal Adams. Okay, that makes that secondary deadly. And that's why I have the Jags selecting him at 4. On to the Titans pick at number 5. Okay? And the Titans are actually going to trade back with the Browns. Yes, the Browns are trading up into the top 5 to draft Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, they think Money Mitch, is the answer at quarterback, apparently. Their head coach, Hugh Jackson, loves him, is absolutely in love with Mitch Trubisky. So, he's there at 5. You trade up, and you get your franchise quarterback. On to the next one, Jets. They're going to stay put. They're going to choose Marshon Lattimore. Marshon Lattimore is everything they thought Darrelle Revis would be when they signed Darrelle to that long-term deal. Okay, he's a shutdown cornerback that can lock down half the field by himself. And that's exactly what they need for that defense. Their front 7 is decent. They still need to see a little bit more out of Deron Lee because he was injured all of last year. But when he comes back, that defense becomes super scary again. Okay, you have Deron Lee. I think it's Leonard Williams and Marshon Lattimore. Your last 3 picks in the first round are super stud defensive players, and that is not an awful way to build a team. On to the Chargers pick. Chargers are going Malik Hooker. Okay, Malik is the one person in this draft I can feel can shut down the entire back half of the field by himself. He is the closest thing to Ed Reed that we've seen in a while. And if you're the Chargers, if you pass on him, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, he's there at 7. You need a safety. I would recommend drafting him. And that's exactly what they'll do. 49ers from the 8th overall spot, they're going to choose Johnathan Allen. Okay, you could argue the 49ers choosing Johnathan Allen at number 2. He's there at 8. Okay, and there's no way they're passing up on him. John Lynch likes strong, fast, very technical players that are low to the ground, and that's exactly what Johnathan Allen is. You get him at 8 here, and that shores up your entire defensive line for the next 10 years. Okay, you already have DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead. You get Johnathan Allen, that solidifies your defense. Okay. Next pick, Bengals, and they're going to trade. All right, we got a trade alert. Saints are coming up. Saints are trading with the Bengals to draft Marlon Humphreys, cornerback out of Alabama. Okay, and they do this to leapfrog the Bills, who probably would have drafted Humphreys if they didn't leapfrog them. So the Saints get a lockdown cornerback who they've been searching for the entire offseason. You've seen the rumors. You've seen the trade speculation. The Saints want a shutdown cornerback. They wanted Malcolm Butler. I've been hearing rumors that they want Sherman, and they've offered things for Sherman. But you get a younger version of both of those guys with Marlon Humphreys. He's super big, he's super physical, and he's super fast. So, I know you don't have to pay a first-round pick for him. So, that's what the Saints do. Next pick, Bills. They're going Mike Williams. Best wide receiver on the board coming out. Doesn't, I think, have the highest ceiling, but he's one of the most sure wide receiver picks. He's a huge guy, big target, and it's going to be a Clemson reunion, man. Sammy Watkins and Mike Williams are going to be the tandem of wide receivers in Buffalo, man. That's going to be pretty fun to watch. The Bengals, now at the 11th spot, are going to choose Ryan Ramzyck. They let Andrew Whitworth go in free agency. This is essentially just to keep Andy Dalton alive. Ramzyck's a very good left tackle. Best left tackle in this draft, which is not saying a lot, but Ramzyck's still pretty good. And they just need to keep Andy Dalton alive, like I said. Titans, with the 12th pick now, going O.J. Howard. This guy fits their scheme perfectly. He's the best tight end I've seen come out in a while. Possibly the best tight end I've ever scouted. Super big, super long, super fast. Can catch with very utmost ease and can block better than every tight end in this draft. You can't really ask much more from a tight end position than O.J. Howard. Cardinals, with the next pick, they're going to stay put. They're going Pat Mahomes. When you draft Pat Mahomes, you expect him to sit for 2 or 3 years. And Pat Mahomes is going to sit behind whatever Carson Palmer's got left. Okay? Palmer's probably got 2 years at maximum left in that tank. Pat Mahomes can sit behind him for 2 years, learn whatever he can, from Bruce Arians as well, and hopefully become a very good player. I personally don't like Patrick Mahomes as much as other people do. I'm not as high on him as other people, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I don't think he can become a good quarterback, because I think he can. It's just I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years to do that. With the next pick, Eagles, they're going to trade back 2 positions to the Ravens with the Ravens, and the Ravens now have the 14th pick, are going to select Derek Barnett. Yes, the Ravens trade up in a draft for once, and they're going to choose the stud edge rusher from Tennessee. The Ravens do not have anyone except Terrell Suggs as a pass rusher. They need a pass rusher desperately, especially since they dropped Dumerville this offseason. Derek Barnett is that guy. Okay, Derek Barnett can step in and fill that role immediately. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay, the Colts, they're going to go McCaffery here, Christian McCaffrey. I like McCaffery with this move. It gets a little bit of pressure off Andrew Luck, and yeah, that's really all it needs, honestly. Andrew Luck just needs someone to help him out, and Christian McCaffrey is that guy. Eagles, with the 16th pick, they're going Gareon Connolly. Yes, I understand that he's fallen off a lot of people's draft boards with the rape allegations. My philosophy is that you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay? It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter that he was accused of this. Okay? And that is a startling sign for a lot of teams. Like, Gareon might not go in the first round. I am mocking him in the first round because I am assuming that he is innocent. Okay? I don't know the full story, so I can't speculate on whether or not he is or is not. But I am going under the presumption that he is innocent. So he will go where I think he deserves to go, which is top 20. If news comes out tomorrow that he is guilty, then I will change my mock draft. That's as simple as that. Okay? This pick is extremely hard for me because there's so little information about this case, and I don't know what teams are going to do so close to the draft. So I'm going to mock him as if he is innocent, and the Eagles are going to take him at 16. Okay? With the next pick, I got the Redskins picking Reuben Foster. Yes, Foster comes off the board. Probably the MVP of being a dumbass this offseason. Foster essentially cost himself 10 draft positions by failing a drug test, getting kicked out of the combine, and just being not a smart human being. All right, Reuben Foster to me is a top 10 talent with bottom. All right, he's a top 5 talent with bottom 5 intelligence. Okay, that's what Reuben Foster is. This guy is a linebacker that can alter your defense for the next 10 years. Okay, we're talking like Panthers with Luke Kuechly type level impact. He might not be as good as Luke, obviously, but the defense with Luke versus without for Carolina is completely different. And I think that Rueben can have that type of impact on the Redskins, where if he's out of the game, you just immediately see that like there's something wrong. And I don't think the Redskins can pass up on that opportunity to draft that type of player with that type of ability. Okay? So they're going to go Reuben Foster at 17. Corey Davis. Okay, Titans. This is a pretty easy pick for me. I am adamant when I say that the Titans need a wide receiver in the first round. Okay? They either got to go Mike Williams, John Ross, or Corey Davis. I personally like Corey Davis the best out of all three of them. I think he has the least amount of concerns coming out. I think he's more of a complete player, and I think he has better potential than all these guys. The only thing that worries me is that ankle injury, but I think he's going to be ready to go before the start of training camp, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, but who do I know, right? Who am I? So Titans go Corey Davis with 18. Next pick, Bucs. They're actually going to give this pick up. They're going to trade back with the Seahawks. Right? Seahawks are going to move all the way up from 26 to 19, and they're going to take Cam Robinson, left tackle out of Alabama. Yep. Cam is the best lineman on the board still, in my opinion. He has the most potential, at least. He's got the highest ceiling. So, Seahawks take Cam. He's better than whoever they have at left tackle right now, and that's essentially their guy, all right? They're going to lean on Cam for pass protection and run support, so I think Cam can certainly do that. That's a pretty easy decision. The Broncos with the next pick, 20th. They're going to trade back with the Lions, right? And you might be questioning, Jake, why are the Lions trading up one position? Well, I'll tell you why. The Lions are trading up one position because they are in desperate need of a linebacker, and they do not want to take any chances with a team trading up ahead of them, right? So they're going to guarantee themselves the 20th spot and guarantee themselves Hassan Reddick. Okay, he's the best linebacker still on the board. He has the most upside, and if you trade up for him, he's a guaranteed lock to be on your team next year. The Lions have not had a stud linebacker since DeAndre Levy. That was about 4 years ago before he busted both of his knees. Okay, so they need this pick, and they're willing to give up a lot to get it, I think. I think they're willing to give up a lot for Hassan Reddick, so they're willing to trade up for it. The Broncos, with the 21st overall pick, they're going to pick Forrest Lamp. Pretty no-brain decision here. Broncos don't need much except for offensive line, so Forrest Lamp's the best offensive lineman still on the board, and they're going to pick the guy with probably the coolest name in the draft. Dolphins with the next pick. They're going to go Jarrad Davis. Linebacker. Yep. Dolphins need a linebacker pretty badly. And Jarrad Davis is a very good linebacker. Can cover well, is extremely athletic, good tackler. Really checks off all the boxes that you need, man. Is worthy of a first-round pick, and the Dolphins pick him. Giants, they're going to Garrett Bowles. I like Bowles. I think they can be overpowered a little bit. His arms aren't as long as you'd prefer, but he's a better left tackle right now than Eric Flowers is. So the Giants' need and concern is offensive line, and I think that you can address that extremely well with Garrett Bowles by moving him to the left, right, and having him play left tackle, Garrett Bowles, and then sliding Eric Flowers into the guard position, the position he was actually drafted for, and play him there. Right, I think that will massively help the Giants' offensive line. And that's why I think they're going to pick Garrett Bowles. Raiders, they're going Jabril Peppers. Yep, we're going to get some controversy here. Jabril, he failed a drug test, at the combine. He had a diluted sample. But that is not stopping me from picking him at 24. The Raiders need 2 positions on defense. They need, actually 3, but Jabril addresses 2. They need linebacker and safety. Jabril can play both those positions. How do you not take a guy that can address 2 positions at once? Jabril is a top 32 talent for me. I think he's a first-round talent borderline. And if you get him here, he addresses both linebacker, coverage linebacker, and safety in certain situations. So I don't know how you pass on him here. The Texans with the 25th pick, they're going to Deshaun Watson. Yeah. The Texans have said, and I've read reports that they are adamantly against drafting a quarterback, says their general manager. It's like, we don't need to draft a quarterback with our first-round pick. And then I say bullshit. Okay? You guys are about 1 quarterback away from getting the boot. You've assembled a great roster. You just can't ever get the most important position right. I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard to draft a quarterback. But maybe you shouldn't invest all your money in a guy you've never even talked to besides on the phone and Brock Osweiler and pay him all that money and then trade away a second-round pick to get rid of him to bet on the fact that a 36-year-old injury-prone quarterback will eventually be released and you can get him. Like, that is such an illogical plan to have your franchise quarter. It's like betting on someone to sell their house if it's not on market. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's just whatever. All right, I'm not a Texans fan. I'm not a Texans owner. It just is incredible to me that they're like somehow winning the division every year. So yeah, they're going to Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he can, settle their quarterback woes once and for all. But I'm optimistic. The Bucs, they're going Kevin King, cornerback. I like Kevin King. Bucs got rid of Altron Verner this offseason. Brent Grimes is getting pretty old. I know they went cornerback 2 years ago with Vernon Hargreaves, but Kevin King is a legitimate number one cornerback. He is 6'3". He's over 2 bills. He's long. He's fast. He's good. He's got the NFL cornerback one body that you want. So I think the Bucs take Kevin King here, and they don't regret it. The Chiefs, they're going Tre'Davious White. And people are going to ask me and comment like, Jake, why do you think that Tre'Davious White is going to go to Kansas City? The Chiefs don't need a cornerback. They need something else. Like, I would argue that the Chiefs' biggest need is a cornerback, besides quarterback, of course. And here's the reason why. Marcus Peters is a great cornerback, right? Every other cornerback on that team sucks. Or is, like, not fit to play the role that they are currently. The Chiefs allowed a lot of yards through the air last season. They did force a lot of turnovers, but that was because of Marcus Peters and Eric Berry. That wasn't because of, the second string corner. It was just like picking 4 balls off a year. No. Like, the only Chiefs secondary players that are worth mentioning are Eric Berry and Marcus Peters, and that's it. It's like the pinnacle of good safety cornerback combo, and then it's like everyone else is just complete trash. So if the Chiefs get Tre'Davious White, they lock up the slot position, and then the Chiefs get way harder to throw on because you've essentially just bolstered their defense to almost impossible to play against. And I think that's almost invaluable if you're the Chiefs. You need Tre'Davious White here, a guy that can lock up the slot, a guy that can return some. I mean, you don't really need returns. You got Tyreek Hill, but he can if you need to. He's an all-around playmaker. He's a super good leader from what I've heard, and a super good player, like off the field. So I don't know why you don't take him here. Cowboys, they're going Malik McDowell. Highest potential ceiling. I know Jerry Jones loves big ceiling, high bust potential, but super high boom potential guys. If you're the Chiefs here, if you're the Cowboys here, Malik is potentially the best lineman in this draft. Okay, more than Myles Garrett. A little bit. I think he's longer. I think he's a little bit more versatile. I think he's stronger. And if you can get him at 28, that's an absolute steal. Packers are going TJ Watt. TJ Watt is essentially he's a Swiss Army knife. So the Packers could use that, especially since AJ Hawk retired, and they need another linebacker to fill that role, and I think TJ Watt can fill that role very well. Steelers, they're going Tim Williams here. Steelers going to risk it for the biscuit. They need a edge rusher sorely. All right, their best guy is 38 years old, and trust me, he's a fit 38-year-old James Harrison. All right, that outside linebacker position, James Harrison runs that shit, but they need a successor to him, and I like Bud Dupree and all. Tim Williams is better than Bud Dupree if he can stay on the field. Tim Williams has a lot of red flags. I think the Steelers locker room is strong enough to negate some of those red flags, especially since Dan Rooney passed this offseason, and I think that team is going to be even more focused towards winning this year in honor of Dan Rooney, and that locker room is going to be especially strong this year. So I think that if they bring in a guy like Tim Williams, they can probably alter his course of and direction, and I think it could be a massive boom for Pittsburgh by getting a guy like Tim Williams at 30. Falcons are going to attack McKinley. They need another edge rusher besides Vic Beasley. Vic did extremely well last year, led the NFL in sacks, stud on defense, but he was the only one to have more than 4 sacks on that entire team. They need someone else to shoulder some of the load because teams are going to start keying on Vic Beasley this year, and they're going to start doubling him. And I don't think any other player on that team right now can get to the quarterback the way that Takk McKinley could if he was on that team. So Falcons draft Takk McKinley, and hopefully they help out Vic Beasley and get to the quarterback a little easier. And finally, with the last pick, the Saints, they're going Zach Cunningham, linebacker. He was just my best defensive player I had left on my board. I think that the Saints are going to go double down on defense this first round. Really don't see any other option here. And I think that the Saints defense goes from pretty shitty, like bottom 5 in the league, to average when they draft Zach Cunningham and Marlon Humphreys with their top 2 picks. So that's going to actually wrap it up for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Again, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below any constructive criticism, any helpful comments or anything like that. It's super appreciated, and I will see you guys later.